All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Check it out. I just recently did the whole voting thing, right? Me and my wife actually went here to our city and voted for our local officials. So I wanted to share a couple things about that because lately there has been a lot of talk about voting. There is some drama. You guys seen it in the news. You guys seen the whole argument. And I'm going to tell you, voting is super important. We have to do it. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Before I get into that, I appreciate if you're watching. If you want to support the channel, there's multiple different ways. Obviously, you could become a patron. There's a link down there. You could use the Amazon affiliate links as well. They're down there. You could become a member of the channel. I definitely appreciate that. But the most important thing that you can do that I've been pushing for quite some time is that you can share the video. Share this video on Facebook, any place you can. I definitely appreciate that. We're going to talk about voting. Before I do that, let's check out my intro. All right, guys. So we are back, and check it out. Like I say, just recently, me and my wife actually went to vote, and we did our local elections, which obviously they're a little bit different than the elections that are coming up in November. And I wanted to talk about that because there has been a lot of conversations, and there is a lot of dilemma between the left and right, and the whole COVID-19 is being utilized to kind of push the whole mail voting, like vote by mail, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And there has been a lot of conversation about that. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think is something that, is too hard to ask or too complicated to ask or unreasonable request for most people to go and vote and not do it by mail. I don't think so, right? There is some things like maybe if if you are in a remote location or something like that, there's some things you can do if you want to do it by mail. If you're old, I guess that may be a thing. I don't know, but normally, generally speaking, the regular people, there is nothing else other than go and vote, right? And if you work for a decent job, a lot of times they give you time for you to do it and all that stuff. The problem is that the Democrats been pushing the whole not having an ID card. Right, we have seen that in the past. Oh, why you have to show an ID card? You're being racist towards people and things like that. That was a few months ago, and to me, that was mind blowing. You got to show your ID card for many different things. So showing it to vote, it doesn't seem to me like uncommon. You're voting for the president of the United States, right? But all right, apparently it is, right? So, and then now they're been pushing a lot the whole voting by mail, and there has been so many reports where they have found, paperwork or extra voting papers, whatever those things are called, ballots, all over the place, that it could be really confusing. And this election's coming up, I'm going to tell you, they are critical. So to me, I'm all about voting in person, right? Obviously, like I said, if you're old and you have some conditions, I get that. But if you're a regular person, you're already going to work, you go into Target, you go into many different places. It doesn't take much passing by the voting place, showing your ID card and vote. I think it's just fine. And that's what it did. It took me like 10 minutes. Really, it took me like 10 minutes. I want to talk about the experiences based on COVID-19 because that is the thing that everybody's complaining about, right? Because people are not scared to go to Target or Walmart, but they're scared to go into a building to vote. It doesn't make sense, right? Probably you're going to get it from Walmart. Walmart is probably not doing as much precautions as some of these places are taking. But, once again, they're like, people are scared. Oh, I can't go and vote. But you could go to Walmart and, the Mexican restaurant. Come on, man. Give me a break, man. That's just total nonsense. But I went to vote, and here's the thing. I walked in there, and it was actually a person standing outside. That person was limiting the amount of people that actually went inside, right? My turn was to go inside. Walked in, show my ID card, they scanned my license, they gave me a paper. I actually had to sign a pad, and they gave me a Q-tip for me to sign that pad. So again, like I grabbed this little Q-tip that you use to clean something, and I signed with that. Boom, done. And then they gave me a pencil or a pen, and they told me to keep the pen. They were like, we don't want it back. So again, really, really a lot of precautions. Obviously, you had to wear a mask. The guys were wearing like face shield. Like it was kind of weird. There was marking in the floor. There was everything was in place to be a pretty safe place. And I know if they're doing that in my county, I know they're going to do it everywhere, right? Every place that you go, it's probably going to have those precautions because that's what they're required to do, and that's what they're doing for people to be safe. So the whole thing about, you know what, is not they're not being safe, to me is nonsense, and it kind of feels a little bit like the left is coming out with some crazy idea to push their agenda. They want people to vote by mail. I wonder why, and I don't want to go into that route. I don't want to go into that hole because God knows what is in there. But I wonder why they're pushing this so hard, and they don't want people to go vote, and they continue to spread lies and fear so people don't go vote. I just wonder why they're doing that, right? I mean, my head is just spinning. Could go to multiple different places. Now, I want to share something because I thought it was kind of interesting. As I went in and I getting my paperwork, there's an individual there, and apparently he was registered as a Democrat, and is an older guy, probably in his 60s, and he was getting really upset. And in fact, he was saying something like, "Why would I be registered as a Democrat when I'm being a Republican for 16 years? How is this possible?" And I was kind of like, getting my paperwork and listening because it was kind of like not loud, but it was a heavy conversation. And the guy is like, "What should I do now?" And they kind of told him, "Well, there's nothing we can do for you." Or at least by the time that I left, nothing that they could have done for him. I don't know if what happened after I left, obviously. But the point to this is like, wow, really? I mean, did it happen to a lot of people, or how does this work? Because if you walk into a place, I'm registered as a Republican, and I walk into a place, and for whatever reason, the computer now says that I'm registered as a Democrat. What does that mean, right? I wasn't really getting that. Obviously, in the case of this individual here for the local elections, apparently he had a vote, Democrat or something. I don't know. I don't know what kind of paperwork they gave him. Obviously, this is your local elections, but to me, that was kind of weird. I don't know what's the deal with that. I figure I'd share that with you guys. But I'm going to tell you, it was a very safe experience. Very safe. All this nonsense that is going on with the government, to me, it is nonsense. People are preaching this thing that is unsafe to go vote. It was very, very safe. And if you go to Walmart, you should be able to go vote. And the excuse that the left is giving that, oh, it's not going to be safe, I don't understand why they're going with this one, but it doesn't seem right to me. Let me know what you think. Put comments down below. And as always, God is in control.